Hi, my name is Yasu, and I'm from Japan. And today I wanna talk about my experience of therapy in Japan. And for those people who live in Japan, and if you happen to be in a situation that you might seek therapy in terms of doing your depression treatment or anything like that. Now those therapy sessions can be covered by national insurance. And this is actually a good news because before national insurance didn't cover therapy. So if anyone wanted to get a therapy session like I did, we had to pay 100%. And it depends on the clinic, and it also therapist. But usually, one session is like 50 minutes, and then price was like 13,000 Japanese yen, like $100 per for 50 minutes. But with insurance, I think it would cost only 3,000 Japanese yen, and US dollar is probably like $20 or so. So it's still expensive, but much more affordable. And based on my experience of using therapy in this country when I was treating my depressions along with effexor and also taking multiple different kinds of sleeping pill, I highly recommend therapy to be included. And unlike Western culture, in Japan, getting therapy is just, it's not common. But I personally find it very effective. But not therapy itself alone, but it needs to be integrated with lifestyle changes, also medications and so on. And in this video, I focus on my experience with therapy in this country though, solely, and how it helped me and what I discovered, what I learned from, and how I was when I was really getting there, to hopefully give you an idea that what I went through, and hopefully me sharing my experience will actually give you an idea that, oh, maybe I should give a shot. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do in this video. So what I started to I started to get in the therapy even before I was officially diagnosed as depression. Because when I was first looking for a psychiatrist, when I started to feeling something is really wrong with me, it was even before I started to developing sleep issues. But I kept feeling that something is off, something is not right, and I couldn't really verbalize it. And I kept asking people around me that I feel so weird about myself. I don't think I can think clearly or feeling clearly. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm feeling. Do do you and like what did I ask? Like, don't you see it? That's what I was really telling my friends, asking my friends. Don't you feel like I'm really different or something wrong with me? But none of my friends or people could tell me anything. Like they told me that, well, except that scar, because like that was right after my surgery, you have big bandages here and your face is swollen. But besides that, you're acting the same as before. That's all of them actually told me the same thing. And then it really made me confused because I was really feeling that something was really, really wrong with me. So following the advices by the doctor who did surgery on me, in a Japanese medical system, once I'm discharged from the hospital, they can only continue to provide the treatment on a specific condition that I was in the hospital for, so which is the my surgery here. Anything else, they cannot really do it because they don't know if it's really related to the surgery or not. And that's I can really understand. But back then, I was becoming very hopeless. I was desperate. But my situation was, I was still functionable. So I was listening to the doctor's advice and then starting to reach out to other medical professionals on my own. And that's how I found out what's going on with my body and with my conditions back then. And then since then, I have created videos about those sleep issues, depressions, tumor surgeries, and then also low testosterone syndrome, and then so on. So when I first approached psychiatrist, my doctor told me that I'm not clinically depressed yet, but I am under so much stress and everything, and it's really understandable because I just went through the surgery, and then I was really going through whether it was a tumor or not. What if it was a tumor? It should have a very big psychological impact on me, even though I was handling everything calmly, as if I didn't really care much. It's just like, okay, if I need to surgery, let's just get it done. I was acting that way, but I don't deny that there was a big psychological impact on me. And clearly it's really affecting me. But I'm not clinically depressed yet, according to the doctor back then. But if I keep pushing, sooner or later I will get depressed. So he told me to just slow down, don't go back to work, focus on your health, get some time rest, and just be okay with it until you really feel okay, which I didn't follow his advice anyway. But meanwhile, he suggested that I can actually start seeing a therapist and getting a therapy session. And back then, I was already feeling lost because I couldn't understand what I am thinking. I couldn't feel what I'm feeling. Everything is numb, but I'm feeling too much. It sounds very weird, but that was the feeling that I remember. So I really needed someone to talk to, and I really needed some professional to tell me what is going on with me. So I agreed and then started to see a therapist in Japan, a cognitive behavioral therapist. And back then, it's not covered by insurance. So yeah, it was not cheap. And back then, I didn't even know what to discuss with my therapist, what topics I should bring or I want to talk to, because all I could think was something is wrong with me. I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I'm in a dark place. I'm in so much pain. And I kept saying those kind of not tangible thing. And I kept repeating the same topic. But that's exactly what I needed, because eventually I started to sharing what I think is happening to me with my therapist. And then my therapist kept asking me, what do I think about this? And it gave me a chance to think and reflect. And then initial stages, I didn't really have any opinions or answer. And I kept telling therapists that I don't know, I don't know. But I remember even that kind of conversation released something from me. But at the same time, it was frustrating, because when my therapist asked me what I'm thinking, feeling, but my answer is I don't know, I feel like nothing is getting done. I'm not going anywhere. And initially, I was hoping that my therapist would give me the answer. But at the same time, I realized that I don't know is the truth. That's the situation that I was in. And then since then, like from the beginning, I saw my therapist once a month for I think nearly 2 years. And then gradually and surely, um, I I didn't get fixated on the same things, the same topics. I started to talking about what happened in the past, what bothered me, and what I usually do throughout the year. And then I realized that that space with my therapist was a safe place, because of the confidentiality agreement. Anything that I said wouldn't go anywhere. It just stayed there. And even I kept saying the same thing. I kept saying that I don't know. I kept saying that I'm hurt, so much pain, dark place. I'm allowed to just say that. And having that safe place in my life, that's really what I needed to establish the foundation for recovery. Because back then, I was becoming already hopeless. That even though when I asked my people that what do they think about me, or like something is wrong with me, because I feel that something is wrong with me, but they just didn't see anything is wrong with me, or maybe they saw something but they couldn't really tell me because they could feel that I'm suffering. I'm not sure. And I didn't want to repeat the same things with them because I didn't want to bother them. But repeating, keep saying the same thing over and over it's a necessary steps to go through. And I needed the space to do so. And in the time with the therapist gave me the opportunity. And one session is only for 15 minutes. Initially, I remember 15 minutes is not enough. I wanted to let it out. I want someone to hear me. I want someone to give me the answer. But as my condition got recovered, having that time fixed, only 50 minutes once a month, it became a very comfortable thing. Because in that 15 minutes, I could say anything. Or in that 15 minutes, I could really focus and feel and dig into my feelings, dig into what happened, what bothered me. But after 15 minutes, I can let it go. And if anything, I could pick it up in the next session, which is a month later. That cycle was very comforting to me. And because I saw my therapist once a year consistently in that 2 years, gradually I could feel that I was improving, I was recovering, because when I was telling my therapist about what's going on, what I feel, certain things, when I was telling my therapist certain things, but I already know my answers about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about what I'm saying. Because before, when I said something, the therapist asked me, what do I think? But as time went by, when I was telling something to my therapist, the answer just popped up in my head simultaneously. And then even I was talking to the therapist, but also at the same time, I'm making this face that, but from this angle, I could see something different. So I can really feel like I'm really regaining the ability to see myself, the world, more clearly, more different angles. My world is expanding. My cognitive ability is being resumed. And the feeling that I'm making the progress it's really promising, especially when I was really dealing with the depression and then sleep disorders. It's really difficult things to handle. And it also, as we grow, we have our world, family, private life, work, and everything. But once we have more responsibilities, it's very hard to find a space that we can just simply say anything that comes to our mind. Because the family or private life, we have this certain way, and to maintain all the relationships and everything, we feel like we are not supposed to say certain things. In a business settings, the same thing. NDA or anything like that, we are not really supposed to say certain things. And more and more, I didn't really have any places to say anything that comes to my mind. And that's unfortunately including the time with my friends, because what I needed is just kept saying the same thing periodically so that eventually I could figure it out. But I couldn't do that with my friends and people that really close to me, because I think it's too much. I don't think anybody wants to hear the same thing over and over and over, and then we have no idea when the topics will change. I don't think anybody wants to go through. And that is why the therapy session is so valuable to me, because I could just keep saying the same thing and over until I feel this is enough and I don't need to do so. And then the other thing that I found therapy very valuable is because I was going through a big change in my life in the 2 years that I was getting therapy, which is I stopped going to visit a grave or cemetery in Taiwan. So 10 years ago, someone that is someone very important to me passed away. And because of the context of everything, I took it personal. I took it personally. I attended a funeral in Taiwan. I met the family. And the whole thing just made me feel that, oh, I could have changed that. And because of that, this is my responsibility. The person died because of me. I took it that way. And I kept thinking, what if, what if, what if? And it happened nearly for 10 years. And it's surely and slowly destroying me, I think, because I'm no longer the same person since that happened. And then since then, I visited Taiwan at least once a year on the day that person died. Went to Taipei, rented a car, drove it to the cemetery, and on the day that the person died, I made sure that I was there, which I did. And I kept doing it. And I was even doing it when I was getting a therapy session. But in 2023, no, 24? Yeah, 23. Yeah, 23. Oh, what was it? 23? Oh, I'm getting mixed. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, 23. I was telling my therapist that this is what I do every year. I was telling the therapist what happened and why I feel I'm so responsible for everything. And I was telling my therapist how I felt after I visited. That's the year 2023. And year 2024, same thing. But in 2024, when I was visiting there, driving a car as always, I had this sudden feeling that I'm not gonna be back. I don't know why, but when I was driving as always, I was feeling something is different, that I don't have to do this anymore. And in this, I had this feeling that next year, which is 2025, I wouldn't be here on this day. So after the trip in 2024, the first session that I had with my therapist, I told the therapist what I did and how I felt and everything. And then last year, for the first time in 9 years or 10 years, I really didn't go to the cemetery, the graveyard, which was very surprising to me. It surprised all of my friends because they really thought that I would just keep going there once a year forever. And I feel the same way. And then in the month, which is October, I was telling my therapist in the session that I'm in Japan, I didn't go. So my therapist was really witnessing how I evolved, how I growing, how I been changing, how I be recovering. Really the critical moment. And when I reach that I don't need a therapy session anymore, and I told the therapist that, and also psychiatrist, my doctor, that I don't think I need therapy anymore. And they said that if you don't need it, you don't need it. In the last session, we were just simply chatting. I was asking the therapist that therapy is very effective. Why it's not covered by national insurance? It should be. She was telling me that it might be covered sooner or later, and which is happening this year. And for the first time ever, my therapist was asking me, so Yasu, do you think the death of the person 10 years ago can be the main reason or main cause for depression and everything, your depressions and everything? When she asked me that, my answer was so immediate. I told her immediately that I think so. And it was a solid realization. I always knew, and I always felt, and still feeling, that the death really destroyed me, affected me. But I thought I handled well, but I was wrong. That is why it got to this point. And that's why for my therapist to ask me the questions and for me to answer the therapist right away, that yeah, I think that's really the main reason. It really, one way, it set me free. And having that realization makes me really face the reality that I'm not okay. And admitting that I'm not okay opens up more possibility. And I think that's why I accept everything that has happened. So if I didn't get a therapy session, I don't think I could reach this point. So it was, the therapy was helping me not only to deal with my depression and sleep disorder, but also how to expand my worldview and how to accept myself and how to see what's really affecting me and how to integrate everything. So I'm really glad that I found the therapist and got the therapy session. And it cannot be done by just taking medications or changing the lifestyle. I needed the professional guided way to kind of intervene my perspectives to improve it or upgrade my view and everything. And that can be only done with talking constantly. And by talking, it leads me to the realizations with the help of my own. And that's why I accepted it. So I'm not, if you are living in Japan and you're struggling with mental health and everything, I highly recommend you to consider getting therapy as well, along with getting medications and everything. If you're in your country and getting a therapy is the option, I recommend you to give a try. Because when it comes to mental health, getting the medication is one thing, but we need to really change our lifestyles to make sure that we can become healthier again. But also, we need to change or improve or upgrade our perceptions towards ourselves and in the world, which can be only done by getting different kind of views from other people, because we are so fixated on our own views. And to make that happen in a safer settings with the professional help, therapy is very effective and promising too. It takes time, but when it comes to mental health, even taking medications, getting better, it takes time. So if the situation allows, getting therapy regularly will be more helpful as well. Because regardless, just doing the therapy or taking medications, that whole process of depression treatment, it's such a longer process anyway, unfortunately. So having that kind of safe space, I think it's very crucial for our recovery. So that's my view and my experience about the therapy. I'm not sure if this is gonna be helpful for anyone. I'm not sure. But I just simply want to talk about it and just let it out. So thank you for watching and listening, because me talking and you listening, it's all part of my healing journey anyway. So I really appreciate everything. So please take care. Jane. Bye bye.